What is up, my brothers and sisters? It's your boy Juice. So all these people are taking Tylenol and like mass amounts of Tylenol because they're like, Tylenol doesn't do anything to you. And it's just funny because they're like, all it does is take away your headache. And I'm like, go ahead and swallow that bottle. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, no, yeah, go ahead. Prove your point. And then you got all these people who, are mad about this, mad about that, and then people are like, oh, you should buy yourself a gun and lock your doors and stay inside and bug out. And I'm like, well, like, how are you going to stay in your house when like a simple match and some fire accelerant to your house or wherever you're living always forces out the fox? So it doesn't really matter. If somebody really wants to cause you harm, they could just come up with some ingenious ideas such as that, and I think people don't go over all the possibilities. They just stick with one idea and they think that it's a fact, and they're not open-minded, because they get told these things on the internet and they believe them as facts, and they don't really see the big picture. They can't see past the big picture because they believe all the bullshit on the internet. And they take their medical advice from TikTok and Facebook, and then they take their advice from these preppers on YouTube, and then they believe these alternative media news programs of people's opinions and not facts on the YouTube, and what a world we live in. They just can't see the big picture, and everybody lives in fear. I once told a bunch of people when the C-19 was going around that if I were to live in the woods for a couple of months and come out and come back into the world, it would be like everybody was running around everywhere, right? They were like running away from everything. And I'm like, like Godzilla was coming, right? And I'm like, well, what the fuck is everybody running from? And I'd be standing there looking around at these people like they're crazy. They're going to say the Nazis are coming. And then they're going to say there's a sickness in the air. And I'm like, well, where is it? Like, I can't see it. It looks to me as if you're running from your own shadows. Because if I was to come back out of the woods and not know anything that's going on in the world, I would not be afraid of anything, as to where everybody else who, it's better to live under a rock, in other words, because I would have no fear of anything besides what was in the woods. Because coming out into the free world, right, and everybody running from their own fucking shadows, and everybody afraid of everybody else, right? They're scared of their neighbors. They hate their families, right? They see what's on the TV. I'd be like, what the fuck is going on, right? I've been living under a rock and I have no idea, right? I don't listen to the radio. I don't watch TV. And these people would seem as if they're afraid of their own shadow to me, right? Because I would not know anything because I chose not to know anything. And I would be fearless, as to where everybody else was afraid of everything that they're watching and seeing, and they've grown with this fear of sickness and people, and and then they believe all this bullshit they're seeing on the TV, like that guy that shot up the ICE center in Dallas, right? And he just so conveniently left a clip of bullets, and it says anti-ICE. It is like, oh man, for real? Like, you believe that shit? Like, it just looked like somebody conveniently wrote with a marker on the bullet casings, anti-ICE, right? Like, come the fuck on. I'm telling you.